One of Us is a dialogue podcast profiling people in and around the Diocese of Wilmington. It also appears in writing in the print edition and online at thedialogue.org. The featured subject could be someone who works behind the scenes at your church or school, volunteers at the parish, or is a regular churchgoer or longtime parish member. Do you want to suggest a person to be profiled? My name is Mike Lang, and I'm a staff writer here at The Dialogue. Drop an email to me at mlang@thedialogue.org or call 302-295-0637 if you have a suggestion for an interview subject. Jimmy Szpak is a parishioner at St. Mary Magdalene Parish in Wilmington and a senior here at Salesianum School. Is nominated by Salesianum School for One of Us. Jimmy, thanks for doing this today. So you mentioned St. Mary Magdalene, and is that where you went there for all your elementary school?
Yeah, so I started in kindergarten and all the way through 8th grade. I went to school there and went to church every Sunday at St. Mary Magdalene.
So when it came time, 8th grade hit, why Salesianum?
So I was looking at the Catholic high schools in the area, and it was COVID my 8th grade year, so I was not able to shadow at Salesianum. But I was talking to some current students who used to go to St. Mary Magdalene, and I just really thought that it was going to be the best place for me to continue growing intellectually and maturing spiritually as well. So,
your occupation is student.
Yeah.
And tell us about your family. Who else is there in the Szpak family?
So, yeah, both my parents are Catholic, and that's kind of why Catholic education was a big focus for our family. And then I also have a younger brother. He's a current sophomore at Salesianum, and he also went to St. Mary Magdalene. All is grade school.
And what's his name?
Tommy.
So what's the most important part of your spirituality?
I think the most important part of my spirituality is kind of just having the trust in God that no matter where or what's happening in my life, that God's still got a plan for me, even if it's not going the way I want it to at the moment. There's one of my teachers, freshman year, he put it really well. He said that there's always going to be the Good Friday moments of life, but with trust in God, you can know that just if you keep going, there'll be the Easter Sunday moment eventually.
So I know here at Salesianum, you see the VJ, the Live Jesus, on everywhere and on sports uniforms and on the walls and everywhere else. Talk about the faith life here at Sally's.
So the faith life here at Sally's, I think it makes it really easy for students it meets students where they're at. I think in grade school and just kind of in general, there's this notion that you've got to be a saint, and perform miracles to be a good Catholic. But here at Sally's, I think it really focuses on doing the small things really well, where it's just holding a door for someone, smiling in the hallway, sitting with someone who's sitting alone, and just trying to make other people's days better. And I think that's kind of how living Jesus makes it easy for students to kind of start that faith relationship.
Obviously, the Oblates have been here since they opened the school, and they're still here. I don't know how much that Oblate spirituality has soaked through, but what's it like having the Oblates around?
I think it's really awesome to have the Oblates around. I've had the privilege of getting to know many of the ones who live on campus here and teach classes, and I think that they're just a great resource of questions about the faith, questions about life. They really have a good and an interesting perspective about it. You're never going to get shamed for asking a question that could seem like a challenging question. You're never going to be like, oh, don't ask that question. And just having that resource available to you as you're growing up and kind of learning more about yourself and about the world around you can be really valuable and in keeping you close to God.
Okay, so what is it that keeps you going in your connection to the church? I imagine you go to Mass at St. Mary Magdalene, and anything else, or what else?
Yeah, so I just think that, once again, as I said earlier, just kind of having those people who you look up to in the faith, that because faith isn't like a linear process. You kind of have your ups and downs when you're really in a good spot with your faith and really in a bad spot. So I think that just kind of the support of the community around you, there's people who you look up to, you can talk to, and that kind of helps keep me going, because when I'm having a bad day, I can talk to someone and they can kind of explain where they're coming from and how I can get to a better spot.
So if you could change one thing in your life as a Catholic, is there one thing, or what would it be?
Well, this is kind of just more about the church community. At least I just would really love if there was a place on like weekends or somewhere where you could go with like a youth group, a diocesan youth group or a parish youth group for high schoolers, and doing kind of high school age activities. And not all of it has to be centered specifically around like the theological principles, but just having that like a really good young community that interacts with each other. And I don't know, it could even just be like talking about the faith, or even playing basketball, pick up basketball after church on Sundays. Just having that community would be really cool, so you can get to kind of meet people your own age in the church, which is something that here at Sally's it's really nice, but outside of Sally's, just in Sunday Mass, you don't see a lot of people your own age there. So I'd like to have more people my age who I can talk to about faith.
I think that's a great idea. So here you mentioned Salesianum. Obviously seems like it's a big part of your life, at least currently, since you're at school here every day. What kinds of things are you involved with here at Sally's?
Yeah, so I'm involved in a lot of different things. A lot of academic clubs I'm involved in. I also run year-round, and then I'm a part of campus ministry and Salesians for Life, which is kind of a club trying to gain the respect for and support for people at all stages of life, where it's before birth or end of life and everywhere in between. Just kind of educating and supporting the Salesianum and the greater Wilmington community on those issues.
So you said you're a runner. Are you on the cross-country team here? And
Yeah.
I don't know about track, but you do those?
I run cross-country and indoor and outdoor track.
So the cross-country program obviously has a great history here at Sally's. What's it like being part of that? And you go in and you see all the state championships. I'm sure there's some pressure on you. Nobody wants to be the Sally's team that doesn't win that, but being part of that whole cross-country community here at Sally's, what's that like?
I think there's such a culture around it. And even when I came in as a freshman, it was kind of immediately expected that I was going to start training on weekends over the summer, just not taking days off when you don't feel like running. And I just think that there's definitely some pressure, but I feel like that's kind of what makes it so much fun, and the discipline of it. So yeah, talking to guys who've running in college and who had state records 30 years ago, you want to be like them, and so you really put in the work at all times, with the whole team does, and that's kind of how you grow together.
The culture here at Salesianum, give me something about what the whole brotherhood feels like and what that means to you.
Yeah, I think that the brotherhood is just really that no one's going to be alone through your highs, through your lows. The whole school is going to celebrate the state championship, and the whole school is going to come together when something bad happens. I think I've seen it really powerfully, probably more in the really tough moments. And just everyone looks to support each other, and you'll see a stranger in the hallway and they'll be like, "Hey, how you doing?" if you're looking like down. And that's really powerful, especially as a younger student, to have one of the upperclassmen come over just randomly and just say, "Hey, how you doing? Yeah, let me know if you need anything." That's really powerful, and I think that embodies what the brotherhood is.
So you obviously academics is first year. What subjects do you feel are your strong point, and what are you looking to do maybe after you get out of here?
Yeah, so I'm definitely more of a STEM guy. I've really pushed myself. Salesianum offers a plethora of AP classes in the STEM field, and really in all fields, but I've definitely focused on the STEM field. I'm thinking maybe mechanical engineering or pre-med, because I've both liked AP physics and AP chem. But yeah, I'm not exactly 100% sure what I want to do in the future.
I'm sure you haven't selected a college just yet.
I've not yet, no.
Yeah, you got time.
Yeah.
So if I'm here at Salesianum and elsewhere in your life, I'm sure there are plenty of non-Catholics that are friends or acquaintances. Then one of them comes up to you and says, "Why should I be Catholic?" Maybe that's happened to you. What do you tell them?
I think it has not happened to me yet, but I think I would just tell them that it's really great to know that God intended you to be where you are right now. It's not just a mistake, not just by chance that you're living on this earth in this time period. You're here, your life has a meaning. And I think that's just oftentimes you can get caught up, I'm just 1 in 7 billion or 1 in 8 billion people on the planet. What does my day-to-day choices matter? But I think when you kind of know that you have a meaning, kind of just helps you, even on those worst days, just get 2 feet on the ground and just keep moving. And I think that that's one of the more, that's how I would try to convince someone to become a Catholic. Just that there's someone behind you and there's a purpose for what you're doing.
So you may have answered this, but what does your faith mean to you?
Yeah, I think I've kind of just already answered it. Just that, again, just as long as you can just keep going, you might not think you're in a great spot, but you're right where you are. And even with your flaws, with your strengths, you can make a difference in the world, and God's gonna take your flaws and it's gonna be okay. Everyone has flaws. Even the early saints and early apostles, they had flaws, and God still chose them to be the people or Jesus chose them to continue on the church. And with the Holy Spirit, they've built a really impressive institution.
Great. Well, thanks for joining one of us, a profile on people who support the church in the Diocese of Wilmington. Don't forget to follow us online at thedialogue.org for your latest in Catholic news and features. Jimmy, thanks for joining us. Good luck in the future.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, thank you.